Hi, welcome back. We're continuing our long series on creating a course in Moodle. We finished up the course settings in the last video, and now we're ready to actually start editing the course content. So here I am on the course page, and I'm going to start editing by going over here and clicking Turn Editing On. And right away you notice you'll see some new icons everywhere that indicate you're able to edit things. Now for this video I'm just going to focus on the first topic, which was about downloading MAMP. So right here is topic 1. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to edit the name of the topic. So I'm going to click the little gear icon here. And I'll check off use default section name. I'm going to rename it downloading MAMP. And in this section we'll cover downloading MAMP. Okay, that's it for that. Okay, so now we've done that. Now we can add an activity or resource. So I'm going to click here, and yikes, that's a lot of choices. And unfortunately, we're going to have to break this up into quite a number of videos because the settings that you will see here, I'll give you an example. Let's go ahead and click on assignment. And I'll click expand all. Okay, so just for an assignment you can see that there's a lot of settings here, and to go over them in one video would just take a long time. So instead of doing that, instead of trying to cover everything at once, I'm going to focus on something real simple, which is adding a URL. Yes, you can actually. So we're going to go down to the very bottom and select URL. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a URL to the MAMP website. I'll type in MAMP website. This is a link to the MAMP website. By the way, as a little disclaimer, I am in no way endorsing MAMP, but okay, display description on course page. Yeah, why not? Let's see what that looks like. Okay, then type in external URL. You could also click this button and allows you to do things like point to files or quickly search things on YouTube. I'm not going to do that right now. Maybe we'll cover that later. Then underneath that is appearance. So this basically is where you can have it open up another tab, or you can have the link actually, the web page actually embedded. I'm just going to leave it for automatic right now. Then you also have variables. This might be useful if, say, if the link is part of a campaign, or you need to pass along some information. In fact, you can see here you can pass along the ID or the username or something like that. And then down here you have common module settings. I honestly don't know what this does, so I'm just going to leave it alone. I'm going to click save and return to course. All right. And for fun, I'm going to turn editing off, get an idea what it looks like. And I'm going to go into the downloading MAMP page. Now see, there was kind of an interesting thing to just keep in mind. here we see all of the topics, but then you go inside the topics and it's only inside the topic that you see the link to the site. I think that's based off of the settings that we set up in an earlier video, and you know, that's just going to have to be one of those things you play around with. So anyway, this is what it looks like. Now I've got a link here, but how do I know if people have actually clicked on this link? Well, what I need to do is I need to turn something called activity completion on. And by default, it's not activated. So to turn it on, what I need to do is I need to go back down here to the administration block and go to site administration. And then click on advanced features. So here, if you check this page out, you'll see a bunch of advanced features that are by default turned off, and there's probably a good reason for that. You know, each one of these features takes a little bit of processing power, and so you probably don't want to have everything activated unless you need it or want it. So need to scroll down until you get to enable completion tracking. By default, it's set to no, and I am going to turn it on and click save changes. All right, now I need to go back to my course. See if I can get to it right here. Okay, again, we see that you see a little hint of what is inside this topic, but you don't actually have access to it unless you click on it. And I was expecting to see a little checkbox over here, but let's turn editing back on and see if I need to maybe edit this URL. I probably do. So let me click edit settings for this URL and scroll down. And for some dumb reason, I'm not seeing it. Well, I'm not exactly sure why it didn't do that. Well, rather than take up time, you know what? Let's take a look at the course settings. Maybe there's something needs to be changed to the course settings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to manage courses, and I am going to click edit course. I need to see, okay, here's what happened was I turned on activity completion in the Moodle settings, but I need to go back over here to the course settings and actually turn it on, because by default it will be turned off. I know this seems like a real big hassle, but that's just how it is. So I'm going to click save and display the course. Okay, then let's try editing the settings for the URL. Here we go. Now we see a new section in this URL called activity completion. And by default, it says do not indicate activity completion. And I'm going to change it to students can manually mark the activity as completed. There's another setting here where you can actually make some changes, but I'm just going to leave that alone. Actually, you know what? I will select this, because then what this is going to do is it's going to mark it automatically as complete once the student actually views it. And if I wanted to, I could actually set a due date here. but that's overkill. I'm just gonna click save and return to course. I'll turn editing off so we can see what it looks like. Okay, now notice that underneath the URL we now have a little progress indicator. And there's also a checkbox. And if I tried to select it, it wouldn't work. But if I click the link, okay, it's taking me to MAMP, then try to go back. Let's see if I refresh the page. Yeah, there we go. See, what happened was it automatically recorded that I selected this link. Anyway, I'm sure you're probably thinking, man, that's a lot of overkill for one stupid URL. And indeed it is, but it is nice to be able to track all of this stuff. And anyway, that's kind of why I'm making these videos, because there's a lot of stuff in Moodle to cover. And I think it'd be better to just have it kind of broken up step by step than to try to cover it all at once. Anyway, I will take a look to see if there's a way to turn on activity tracking by default for any new activities, but we'll cover that in the next video. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you're enjoying them.